Hi, everybody, and welcome to Build. I'm your host, Cole Delbick. Today is my favorite day because our next guest is Leslie Grossman. You fell in love with her on Popular's Mary Cherry, and now we're scared she might murder us all in the middle of a night on a rope boat, thanks to American Horror Story. In her third season of Ryan Murphy's anthology series, Leslie plays Margaret Booth, the owner of Camp Redwood, where all kinds of crazy is going down. The character is as unhinged as Leslie is talented, and I can't wait to see the finale tomorrow night. So before we welcome Leslie to the stage, let's take a look at a clip.
I want to do something that will change the world.
I'm so in.
Lay it on me.
Jim Morrison's grave. The archway at the Dakota where John Lennon was shot. Graceland. People flock to these places just to feel a connection to the artists they love. Well, we're going to give that to them. We're going to kill every musician that's coming for the festival.
Flock of seagulls.
The Go-Go's.
Except Billy Idol.
Yeah.
We can't touch him.
No, don't touch him.
Fine. People are going to pay to come here. We're going to make Camp Redwood the mecca for 80s music memoriam, and I am going to make a fortune.
Let's give it up for Leslie, everybody.
How bananas. That is bananas.
Bananas. Yeah, I've been...
Sit up straight. This is, okay. Okay, and I want to make sure everyone sees your shoes.
Oh my God, I mean, let's focus on this dress.
Focus
Come
on
on.
the shoes. Okay, here we go.
You know, I've been so excited to see you. I feel like this morning was like gay Christmas. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's been, we realized 2 years, I think either to the day or the day before or the day after that we did this last time. So it's like a reunion for the two of us.
No, last time it was Cult. Now we're here with AHS 1984.
So much has happened since then.
I mean,
we were innocent children back
so
then.
Young, naive. There's so much to talk about. Your performance on this season is like next level brilliant, I gotta say. But first I want to touch down on something really important.
Yes.
How dare you look so good with feathered hair and big 80s style glasses?
Wow, do you think that looked good?
It looks so good. People must have been telling you this.
What would happen is I would forget what I look like and then see myself in the mirror and I was like, whoa, like that was a lot. But those glasses, we had a lot of discussion about those glasses because I remember them very clearly when I was a kid in the 80s. That was a very specific look. And everybody on that show was so great. And the props team was like, oh, do you mean these? And I was like, yes. The first pair they handed me was exactly what I had in my head. So it was all about the glasses, in my opinion. But that was a real
transformation.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have seen people dress up as Margaret for Halloween, and then Drag Race alum Pandora Box put on the wig and everything.
You have to know, nothing could have made me happier than that. First of all, once the drag queens are doing you, you're golden. Like that to me is a life goal, bucket list checked off. But tons of people on social media were tweeting me and, you know, sending me messages on Instagram that they had dressed as Margaret for Halloween. And it made me so, so happy that people sparked to the character. And it was fun. I mean, she's crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
I mean, an icon is born.
A murderous, psychotic icon.
You know, as a fan of yours for so long, it's been so gratifying to see you play this role because A, I didn't know how desperately I needed to see you go on a murderous rampage in a summer camp. Truly a stroke of genius. But also, it feels like a career highlight because there's so much to play here with Margaret, and we're seeing a darker and more dramatic side to you. So what has it meant to play here? Because you're sort of the lead this time around. So what has the experience meant to you now that the season's wrapping up?
Well, first of all, I want to say that when it comes to American Horror Story, the star is always American Horror Story. So I'm lucky that I got to play a really great meaty part, but it's really the show itself that's always the star. You know, I've said this once, and I'll say it 5 million more times, that Ryan Murphy is my fairy godfather, and he has done so well by me, and he really gave me this as a gift. It was like getting a present wrapped up in a bow. Like, I'm gonna give you something so fun and fantastic, and then you get to go and have fun and play with it. So it's meant a great deal to me. You know, I am a woman in my late 40s, I'm an actress, and I think that things are better, but we're nowhere near where I think they should be, and the old adage about the industry was that when you turned 40, it was done for you. And the thing I love about Ryan is that that's when he finds women really most interesting, and that's what he's writing parts for. And I agree. I mean, I think women get more seasoned, get more interesting, fascinating, have more layers. And for me to get to be doing this at this point in my career, it's a dream I didn't even have for myself. So I'm in agreement with you. It's gratifying for myself. Also, I appreciate it in a way that I just couldn't have before. And I've been doing this for a while now. I'm not gonna say how many years, Cole, but enough. And so I was really able to relish it, to enjoy it, to know how special and unique this is. So I am having the time of my life, and we just wrapped a week ago, so I'm still kind of in it. I'm still having stress dreams that I'm working. Like last night I dreamt that they were like, no, you have 2 more days left. And I was like, I'm in New York. So I'm still
Gotta go back to camp.
Right, exactly. I'm still sort of in it mentally, but it's been the most fun, and I know how lucky I am.
You know, going off that, last time we were here, we sort of talked about when Popular ended, you felt a bit haunted by Mary Cherry.
A little bit.
Because you were sort of put in a box and people saw you as one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I couldn't help, when watching this season, be excited because I was like, oh, people are going to see what she can do. And I was just wondering, do you feel a bit unleashed by this American Horror Story experience? And are sort of doors open that weren't before? Are expectations changed surrounding you?
I mean, I think that, I hope so. We'll have to see. But I agree with you. I think that people, I mean, this is such a corny thing to say, but, you know, got to see different colors and got to see, because I really haven't had the opportunity to play something quite so dark and tense and serious and psycho. And I'm a little afraid how easily I slipped into that role. It felt natural for me. And I didn't find, like sometimes actors, when they do something really dark, it's very sort of disruptive to their personal lives and they take it with them. I was like, this is the most fun. Like, I had so many scenes that were the most fun. Like maybe one of the most fun nights of my life was when I got to kill Gus Kentworthy in a canoe. And we shot that at 3:00 in the morning. And, you know, I said to the stunt people, I was like, I'm not really a stunt person, so I'm gonna need a lot of stunt help. And then I ended up doing almost all the stunts myself because I was really able to tap into that insane, crazy rage. Like I got to get up, bash him on the head with a and then it also made me laugh because he's an Olympic athlete, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass, but in TV I can. But that was so much fun, and I hope that it encourages people, not just me, but actresses in general, actors in general, that people can do lots of things if you give them the opportunity. Ryan is the king of giving the opportunity and saying, well, you can do this. And you say, well, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, no, but you can because you will, because I'm telling you that you will. And then you do it and you feel amazing.
I mean, I think that will be one of the lasting legacies of American Horror Story. All these opportunities that were given to actors and actresses that they weren't getting.
Absolutely.
The media's juiciest roles in this show.
I think that he really loves unique, a little bit different. I just think he's able to tap into stuff that no one else is able to tap into. And then everyone else is like, oh yeah, we saw that all along. So he's a leader in that way, in many ways, but he's just a gift to actors. I know that sounds really actory to say that, but he is. I mean, I can't think of anyone who's a bigger dream to work for, because he'll take the things that other people say, well, it's not commercial enough, she's too weird, she's too unique or quirky or whatever the word is, and he's like, oh no, you're gonna be the focus now. I'm gonna take all those things. His whole thing was like, I'm gonna take the gay characters and make them the center of my story, not the sidekick, not the whatever. Like, and I love that he takes people who are normally seen as outsiders and moves them to the center of the narrative. And it's just lucky for me that I get to be in that orbit, even a little bit.
How did you go about unlocking Margaret? Because I know for last season you were inspired by Tinsley Mortimer.
Yes.
You pulled a little bit from The Housewives. Were you watching sort of old slasher flicks? Were you pulling from another housewife? What was sort of the process in inhabiting her skin?
I'll be honest with you that the stuff that was my inspiration, I did a lot of research on like psychopathy and people that are sociopaths. And I really did focus on white evangelical women. And that was really what I decided to focus on. People who use their religion as a way to hurt people, to marginalize people, to discriminate against people and say, but that's what my God says. And Margaret was like, well, my God says I can be a murderer. So I'm not saying that white evangelical women are murderers, although some of the laws and things that they support will result in the death of people, but that's a story for another day. But I did that was really what I focused on. And going on some of these websites that are geared at women like that. And that was really where I based Margaret, to be perfectly honest, in that world.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we've seen a bit of the layers peeled back with her and her sort of rationalization for all these crimes. And then we learn that this sort of spirit of Lily Rabe has been in her ear, encouraging her all this time.
How freaking genius was Lily Rabe. Comes in and just like acts her face off. Like just, first of all, I love her personally, but just her level of talent and her ability to just like snap into that. I don't even understand that. Like, I just think she's amazing. Wasn't she just so perfect for that? So,
I mean, so harrowing, that untold
Right?
chapter that sort of revealed everything.
yeah. And all of a sudden we're in the 40s. Like, what? It was just great. I was so happy that she was able to do that.
You know, and Ryan loves to sort of play people against type, and it feels so true this season with you, but also with Emma Roberts, who usually plays this sort of like vapid, mean girl, but now she's this virginal, good girl, Brooke. Was there a sense of like fun or new discovery this time around that maybe was different from other seasons?
I think that we all had a lot of fun. We are all actually really good friends in life, and I think that that energy between us absolutely translates onto the screen. Billie Lourd is one of my favorite people in the entire universe and like my soul sister, and I'm so lucky I get to work with her. And I think all of us, I mean, it's so insane. You know, we did 3 months of nights. So we all were like totally looped out and sort of out of the rhythm of normal life. So we were in this like weird little space together. Does this make sense? Yeah. So, and the only way to get through that is to have the best time. And I think also that all of us know how lucky we are that we get to be involved in something that everybody's really excited to watch and interested in, and it becomes part of the zeitgeist. And just to get to play that 80s camp slasher stuff was the best. So much blood, Cole. So much blood.
I mean, you were saying it was like a really hard shoot. I mean,
physically, it was hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I did more stunt work than I've ever done, which apparently I'm not half bad at, which I'm proud of myself.
I looked at Tom Cruise. I love it.
I'm just definitely a new Tom Cruise. Not that crazy, but that was really good for me. You know, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone almost on a daily basis. You know, getting to work with John Carroll Lynch, which I was really nervous about because he's somebody whose work I admire greatly, and he's so incredible and has played iconic characters on the show already. Twisty the Clown, you know, just amazing.
I still have nightmares about Twisty the Clown.
Because that's the scare. I mean, is there anything scarier than that? He's, of course, the most wonderful, hilarious, adorable person. But we had one sort of major come to Jesus, a big scene where he confronts me, and I think I've killed him, but I haven't. And I was so nervous about that scene. And luckily, we got that script pretty far in advance. And I worked on that for weeks and weeks. I was like, I don't want to mess up a single word. And then, of course, we start to shoot it. And he's like, I need to rewrite this whole thing. He was like, I just feel like I would say this whole part differently. And I was like, but I have all my words memorized already for a long time, John. But, of course, he had such brilliant ideas, and it made it even more amazing and incredible. But in many ways, I had to push myself in ways that I haven't done before. You ask me a question and then I start babbling, and I apologize.
No. I mean, I was thinking you're sort of the old guard in the series now because this is the first.
I'm the Aunt Sassy. Is that what you're trying to say? Running around with it, but that's a comeback joke for all of you guys.
Yes,
maybe
please
that's
watch.
before your time. But I am a little bit because I'm sort of running around with the kids.
But your third season, and also the first without Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters.
That is true. Yeah.
And we have so many newcomers this year with Gus, Angelica, Matthew Morrison and his fake giant penis.
So fun. That was really, I got to do a lot of work with Matthew, who's so great. And that was just so ridiculous with the fake giant penis. And Angelica blew me away. Good. She is such a talent. And when we would have to do physical stuff, like Angelica needs to be like in a Marvel movie. Like she would be an amazing superhero. She's so game and so into it. And I was like, my knees. Like she's so like, let's go. But she was the most fun. And the thing that was cool about Gus is, you know, he's coming from obviously the sports world, but Gus is an elite level athlete who's medaled in the Olympics. So show me anyone who's got a better work ethic, you know, like that guy is no joke. And the way that he approached it, just knowing everything, you know, being so prepared, and he was so much fun to work with too. And I learned from Gus, you know, I really admired that level of commitment, and I don't really get to hang out with Olympic athletes all that often. So I kind of soaked up that vibe.
You know, I have a bit of a theory. I feel like if it's in this finale, I hope, fingers crossed, we might see Sarah Paulson as Lana Winters.
Who knows?
Come back interviewing Brooke.
You're gonna have to turn into the
and now we said it
on tomorrow night, aren't you? And
what?
That's what I love about the show is you truly don't know what's going to happen ever, ever, ever. Just when you think it's gonna zig, it zags. So you have no way of knowing.
Anything you can tease in the clip for the finale, we see you and Brooke seemingly get into a pretty ferocious fight. Could Margaret be redeemed? What sort of ending can you tease for her?
Well, you know that I can't ever give any spoilers. You know, you get put into American Horror Story
Yes.
jail. Do you know that? They don't let you out. And they take it very seriously, and I appreciate the fact that they take it so seriously. So I can't spoil anything, but I will say that I think that the people watching the show will find it satisfying and gratifying to see what happens. And I feel like it couldn't have ended any other way. I'm so sorry we're not doing this the day after, because I know I use this word all the time with the show, but again, it's bananas, Cole. It's really bananas when I think of the stuff that we were doing. It's great, and I think people are going to be really excited with the finale. I think they're going to be happy.
I mean, this season has been one of my favorites, and it's also so cool that it marks sort of the 100th episode of the series.
I was so excited I got to be a part of that. You know, even just a small part of the show, but get to work on the 100th episode was special.
And you were sort of the focal point too, and there was this little tidbits, Easter eggs strewn throughout with you now owning Briarcliff Manor.
Isn't that fun?
I loved that.
Yeah.
And then you all sort of gathered for a big celebratory party.
Which was the best. Yeah.
I was jealous. I was like, what was that to get everybody in a room together?
I mean, it was super cool, and first of all, it was great to see Evan there, and I went with Sarah and Billy, and we did that carpet together, and there's a bond. There really is a bond, and I've had a lot of jobs, and not a lot of times do you connect that well with the people that you work with. This is a very, very special group of people, and it's just the most fun. Did you see Kathy Bates and her?
Yes.
I don't know what that was. That I don't know if it was a cat's cat, like from Cats. If it was like what is that? An angelical cat? I'm not sure, but that was amazing, and I give her so many props.
She really showed up.
Because
and showed
they
out.
did say you could come in costume, and for 5 minutes, I'm an adult who doesn't love dressing up. Even as a kid, I didn't love it, and I was like, should I? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And the fact that she did it and went for it, I just thought was genius and made me so happy. What was really fun was getting to work with Dylan McDermott. That was super fun, just because he was in the first season and he's such a important part of that universe. But he came to have a good time, and I didn't know that Dylan was so hilariously funny and great, and that was a real joy. And he came on in the later episodes when we needed a jolt of energy, because we were tired, Cole. We've been working for a while doing crazy hours. So he came at just the right time when we needed
I mean, he's such like a delicious sleazebag in that
the
role.
best,
Yeah.
just the best with his what is happening with that?
I mean, so clearly you get along so with everybody, and
I know it doesn't make for interesting copy.
No.
I wish that I had enemies and I would drag them here, but there's no one to drag. I'm so sorry.
No, but I'm thinking sort of the future ahead. There's always rumblings about what the next series could be. People are saying urban legends and aliens and maybe space. I assume you're on board for more always?
I will do whatever party Ryan invites me to. I go to that party and I don't ask too many questions. I have no idea. I truly, truly don't. Look, we didn't know how the finale ended until last week. Yeah. So we literally just stopped filming. So that feels like it's 1,000 miles into the future. I have no idea. Whatever, if he wants me a part of it, I'll be there. If he feels like there's a different story to tell, great. I'll come back whenever he asks. So let's hope. I want to be in it as much as I possibly can.
And I mean, he's been such a champion for you throughout your career. And of course, he's just sort of signed this historic deal with Netflix. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, of all the Ryan Murphy properties currently airing that I could see you in, The Politician to me is the one that is the natural fit.
I loved it. Wasn't it great?
It was so good. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it just teed up season 2 so perfectly.
Well, let's hope. I'd love to make an appearance in season 2.
Oh my God.
Jesus, what can he doesn't have to put me in everything. You're like my
Ryan,
mother.
I want you in
She's like, why aren't you in this one? And I'm like, he doesn't have, like, I'm lucky he's putting me in anything. What am I going to, like, the thing about Ryan is I don't, and I end up talking about him so much in interviews because he's also such a fascinating person and everybody wants to know about him. But, like, how do you pay that person back? Like, I guess I'm going to have to, like, do I get him a Picasso? Like, how do I ever think, first of all, how do you get a gift for the person who has everything and doesn't need a thing? But somebody he's given me so much that I don't know how I'll ever properly repay him.
Maybe a popular reboot? I don't know.
We have never discussed it. I don't think that that's on his radar at all. But I have made it clear I will show up to anything related to that show. And I would revisit that character in a second. I mean, we've talked about this. We talk about this all the time, that character of Mary Cherry comes up constantly, that people reach out to me all the time to talk about her. And What do you think she'd be doing now, Cole? Where do you think she'd be? I think she'd be trying to make best friends with Kellyanne Conway and get into the Trump administration. But I think it would be really fun to see where those people are now.
Before we go to audience Q&A, I want to touch down really quickly
already almost
on
done?
The Housewives
Okay,
because
yes.
you are such a massive fan, and so am I.
I'm more than a fan. I'm a historian, Cole,
Thank
and I'd
you.
like you to respect me
Let the
as
record be
such.
corrected.
Thank you. I'm having my works published soon. I'll win the Pulitzer for it.
And we're living in like the best of times because 4 of the shows airing right now.
Oh, it's great. Right now is a real, like, we're in a good place
a good
right
stride.
now. Yeah.
Let's talk about Atlanta. How are we feeling? Kenya's back.
First of all, I'm devastated for Portia. Devastated. Like when
Those
her
scenes
mother
are
was
hard to
crying and the
watch.
sister was crying and the baby is so tiny, like that really, really killed me. You know how I feel about Nene. Just I bow down to Nene. She's the queen of all the queens. Kenya, bring it. Like I'm interested. Let's see what you're gonna bring. And I see in the previews for coming up, like I think it's gonna get good. What does she say? Like you don't want to have a problem with me. And I was like, I want someone to have a problem with Kenya. That's fun watching. So I'm in. I'm all in. You know I love Dallas.
Are you okay? Because I've been feeling Dallas is a bit weak this season. I gotta say.
Here's what happened. So, in my opinion, I know we're running out of time, but Leanne Locken to me was one of the most genius people that have ever been introduced in any franchise. And I love Leanne, but I think that now she's pretty self-aware of the cameras and her character in it all. The first season when she was like a feral beast who'd been released on us and we were like, what is happening? But I still love it. Like I still, look, let's be honest. I'll watch all of it, Cole. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is my other job, is watching The Housewives, a job I don't get paid for, but just get paid for in love and happiness, I guess.
And any other things in the Housewife universe that are bubbling up for you? Teresa and Joe
Very,
interview?
you know what I want to say? I want to be on the record about this because we only had one, right, of the New Jersey one that's
only
happening.
one.
That I am so impressed with Gia, and right? Could you die?
I was like, she is grown up and she should run this household.
Just a beautiful, strong, amazing person.
I want her to do so well at
Me
Rutgers.
too, and I think she will. And I think she's going to get into law, and I think she's going to help a lot of people. I think she's going to take this horrible thing that happened to their family and turn it into something amazing. And like you know how in the previews she's having a discussion with Teresa, and she said, that's between you and your husband, not me. And I was like, that is a healthy person with excellent boundaries.
So mature.
And if Teresa is smart, I don't want to put too much pressure on Gia. She's a kid. I mean, she's a freshman in college, but she's still very young. But Teresa will listen to Gia. Yeah. I think she seems really great. And so that really struck me. And I think Teresa deserves happiness. She's been through so much.
Me too. Me too. Okay, I could literally do this forever.
I can't believe it's over already.
We're going to turn over to audience Q&A. We have a tweet, first of all, from Bay Tato. This season has been so starkly different from the last. What has playing Margaret, someone who is proving to be pretty cunning and evil, to say the least, taught you as an actor?
To go on instinct and to not overthink it too much. And just, I really, when I thought of Margaret, I thought of like an animal that was caught in a trap. You know what I mean? That was like in pain and was going to do whatever it took to get out of that. Like she's just a wild beast. So it was great for me to just not think too much and just go completely on instinct. So that's what it taught me.
And we have 2 questions in the audience. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I was wondering if you could have been a cast member on any of the first 6 seasons of American Horror Story, which one do you think you would have picked and why?
Well, that's tough. I really would have liked to have been in Coven. I think that would have been super fun, but I do think Asylum was pretty outstanding. I think that's the one that I rewatch all the time. So I between Coven and Asylum, can I say that? I'm not going to give you one answer, one of those.
Maybe you'll get a chance if they do a little remix of the future seasons.
Whatever
I
they
could see
ask
you in a
me
witch's
to do,
hat.
I'll do it.
And one last question. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I was just wondering if you could create your own season of American Horror Story, what would you make it about and why?
Oh my God. All right. So first of all, people ask me this question. It's a good question. I'm not mad at you for asking the question, but you know, Ryan is a genius. So when I like pontificate about it, I just think of every idea I think up is so dumb because he comes up with the most brilliant stuff and why am I even trying? I've said this before. I would like to do something like really super sci-fi, like outer spacey, different planet, alien-ish. I don't know. I like all that stuff. You know, like when you're in a spaceship and you don't know what's going to happen and it's this weird world. I think that would be super fun.
And that's sort of unmined territory for the franchise. I feel like
so.
we have some sort of new things to
But
explore.
again, I don't, my ideas, no bueno. Don't listen to me.
And sort of building off all of this, now that you've sort of shown a lot of different sides of yourself, is there any sort of roles that you'd love to take on? Any projects that are sort of on the horizon for you?
Well, I'm working on Love, Simon, which is they're doing a TV
new-
show
yeah.
of the movie, which is so cute and adorable and lovely, and I'm excited to do that. You know, I do love to do the comedy, Cole, and while I'm thrilled that Horror Stories give me the chance to. I mean, obviously, all my stuff sort of has that woven in. I cannot help it. It's my face. I know that I have certain expressions. There are times when I swear to you, Cole, I think I'm being dead serious, and then I watch it back, and I'm like I don't know what happens here. It's just has a mind of its own. But you know, I would love to do like a really great comedy. I would love to work with like a Tiffany Haddish, something like that. You know, some power lady comedy would be fun. I'm putting it out there into the universe.
Yes, let's make it happen.
Okay,
everybody make sure to watch the season finale of American Horror Story
gonna be really
1984
good.
Wednesday
It's
night.
really good.
And let's give it up for Leslie, everybody.
Thank you.